Okay, so hello everyone, and if you're watching on YouTube, this is Astrology Conversations on Soul Tribe, and you can join Soul Tribe. It's a wonderful platform of growth and experience and sharing of this astrology journey that we're on together. So I'll put the information on the bottom of that. So what we're going to be looking at today is Venus in this particular cycle. So the Venus star point is a really special one because it's the first one in Libra for about 300 years. And that took place on the 22nd of October 2022, that this first Libran star point happened. So we're in this cycle now, and Venus appeared again as evening star to us on the 22nd of December. And I think I might actually have seen her for the first time last night when I took the dogs out. I was like pretty sure that's Venus up there in the sky. So check out, she'll still be quite low on the horizon at the moment, but she's beginning this process, these 7 gates, which happen once a month. And at each of those gates, they resonate with a different chakra. So we're going to begin in the root chakra on this journey, and we're going to go through until July when we reach the crown chakra. And you can do it many different ways. As far as I know, no one is actually doing it through the gene keys. So we're going to look at the astrology where it's taking place, the gate, which is formed by the exact conjunction of the moon and Venus every month. That's how we know where the gate is. And yeah, and then these 7 gateways happen. And for me, it kind of, you might think it make it more complicated looking through the gene keys, but for me, it gives a much more kind of succinct essence of what that gateway is kind of offering us in terms of energy and initiation. And I think, anyone who's followed Venus, it's like such a powerful initiation. It's not done by me. I'm facilitating it. But it's almost like Venus gets her eye on you. She starts contemplating you, and she'll bring whatever initiation changes into your life are needed. So usually, like, the process, pretty much all of us on the call today came through the descending gates. That tends to be the hardest part of the process, where we strip away kind of our attachments to the physical world. And through stripping these away, we are now able to reintegrate these kind of powers, if you like. So if you remember on the last descending gate, Venus Inanna took off her robe, so she's completely naked and open and vulnerable. And as we go up through this first gate, we reclaim the robe. And then at each gate, we reclaim what it is we left behind. But new people can join as well, because it's almost like we forged a pathway, and other people can join in as we rise up again. And we're going to do the pearl sequence, which will kind of really gather those energies of that, reclaiming our power, our authenticity, our talents. And Venus in Libra is very much to do with the arts and music. And the last time we had Venus star points, there was a big kind of cultural revolution in music and art. So that's one of the things we can expect, and also a movement towards like working together as well. So we've got it all here, I think, on the Salt Tribe, really. So, okay, so I'm just going to run through these gates again. So this is from the top of the Venus Mystery School tribe. So if you want to join and take part in this, or if you are on the call and you want to go back and find this information, it's at the top of this tribe, Venus Moon Wisdom School. Okay, and that little glyph, by the way, is the pattern that Venus will make through her cycle, which is the rose pattern. Really, really beautiful pattern. Okay, so the first gate she's going to go through on the 23rd of January is a 25 degrees Aquarius, and this is gene key 30, line 1. And it's the hexagram in the I Ching is fire over fire, and it's called the celestial fire. It's got the shadow of desire, the gift of lightness, and the city of rapture. So we're going to look more closely at the chart for that in a bit. Wednesday, the 22nd, is Venus Moon conjunction. This is what creates the gate, and that one will be at 2 degrees Aries. So also, you know, you might want to look at your chart in relation to these, because you might find, oh yeah, I've actually got something around 2 degrees Aries or wherever they are, and that will be a very powerful one for you. Ah, okay. Sorry about that. I just decided to stop screen sharing for some reason. Oh, hang on. We are in Mercury retrograde, aren't we? So it just closed that on its own. Can't believe that. Okay, so Soul Tribe Online. Okay, so here we go again. Right. Okay, so that's the, oh, stop it again. Can't believe that. Oh, here we go. Okay. So then the third ascending gate is going to be on the Saturday, the 25th of March. That one will be at 9 degrees Taurus, which is gene key 24, line 2. So this is a really powerful gene key, which is to do with breaking. It's really helpful, actually, one for breaking addictions. It's got the gift of invention and the city of silence. Yes, so this is a very activated, this gene key at the moment, by the North Node, and also Albion, who's one of the TNOs we did. And this one was all about our kind of inner decolonization. So that's going to be a powerful one, I think. Then we get to this will be the heart chakra gate, which is 14 Gemini, gene key 35, wormholes and miracles. I love this gene key, and it's the shadow of hunger, the gift of adventure, and the city of boundlessness. So this is the first one where I really start to sense how everything we're building towards is is like a new concept of prosperity, boundlessness. So then the next one is 22nd of June, 14 Leo. And this one's Gene Key 7, which we actually had as a descending gate as well. And this is about leadership, this Gene Key, and the shadow of division, the gift of guidance, and the city of virtue. So obviously in terms of like our pearl sequence, our work, this Gene Key 7, as well as the previous one of that kind of expansion, that boundlessness is really useful, I think. Oh yeah, and I missed one actually. Sorry, I missed one out. So in May, we've got one of 17 Cancer, and that's 53 line 3, immaturity, expansion, superabundance. So we've got boundlessness, superabundance, and virtue. Okay, then in July, the gate will be at 28 Leo. So we've got 2 Leo gates. And that one will be at 29 line 5, heart-heartedness, commitment, and devotion. So we start in the 30, which is our desire, moving into lightness and rapture, and we end in actually the programming partner of that in July, which is the 29. So I think that's quite interesting that we're kind of at each end of that programming partner. And the 29 is my attractor, and it's one of the like gene keys that's really been massively influential, because I think I used to do loads of things half-heartedly. You know, I do things out of duty, doing things I didn't really want to do because I felt I had to do them. That's probably the main thing. Doing things out of duty and guilt, I think, was my kind of big half-heartedness pattern. And then kind of realizing when you don't commit to things, you create like a really fuzzy, jelly-like energy field. And whenever you commit to something, whether it's a relationship, you know, a new way of doing things, a job that you're going to do, it's like the commitment is like such a strong, it's like an energy field just goes warm. It's very focused commitment as well. But it's funny because, you know, commitment, you should try this out, because when you talk to people about commitment, it'll totally freak them out. You know? When you say to people, like, it'd be really good if you committed to this, like, you know. So I think there's something in our culture right now that's quite like, doesn't like commitment. And I get that, because, you know, it can feel like quite a boring sort of energy. But I think one of the ways I've worked with it, and Richard Rudd says this as well, is really all you can be committed to is your own process, the moment that you find yourself in. Be like committed to life, committed to your path, your work, your relationship. But these things may also change as well, you know, so commitments can change. And I think that was a big lesson for me, especially this year, because I really hung in there with my last relationship. And I mean, I believe the divine timing's perfect anyway. But I think that, you know, relationships can reach a kind of natural conclusion and something else can begin as well. So yeah, that's quite an interesting one on the commitment front, because I've been very committed. but then like my commitment to my own process superseded my commitment to the relationship, if that makes sense. So okay, so I was going to share the chart as well. But I think I'll just have a pause there, actually, and see if anyone else wants to say anything before we look at the specifics of the chart. Just anything that comes to mind, really. And last week we talked about moth as the gene key 30, one of the totems. And I don't know if you watched that Bjork thing with the moth. I mean, Bjork's just bonkers. That moth video was great. So thanks for that. Okay, so let's share the chart for 23rd of January. So this is actually going to fall on a Monday when the usual astrology class is on, but it's going to be from 6 till 8 my time, which is 10 till 12 Pacific. So put that in your diary, and we're going to be doing creative writing and celestial communication with this one. So here in Aquarius, you can see that we have this first Venus moon gate, and right there, 1 degree away, is Saturn. So straight away, we can say that Saturn, who is the creator of forms, is part of this new, this first gate, the root chakra, the foundation. So it's actually really powerful to have Saturn there. And Saturn is also a planet of perseverance, can be meeting obstacles, but it's almost like Saturn demands of us to be realistic, to be grounded in reality, if you like, in the physical, in the material form. And so it's quite interesting that it's in Aquarius as well, because we're in quite a big lead up time to Pluto's going to enter into Aquarius on the 23rd of March. So you can't quite see Pluto. There's Pluto up here in the 11th house. And so, yeah, it's going to move into Aquarius soon. And that's going to be a huge opening, a new portal into the Aquarian energies. So there can be very positive humanistic elements to what will unfold, but also the kind of dark side of the Aquarian age, I think, is really going to pop up to the surface. And I think one of the big areas that's really kind of standing out for me is the influence of artificial intelligence. And if we think about like just the last 5 years almost, how often we're communicating now with robots on the computer and stuff, and it's all very well, and it can make life much more convenient when it's going well and the computer bot understands what you want. But if what you need falls slightly outside certain categories, it can be incredibly frustrating. If you're trying to make an insurance claim that doesn't quite fit the box, or something's going on that these computer bots doesn't understand what you want. Think areas like bioweapons, all this kind of thing, I think are going to come to the fore. So in the context of this next Venus cycle, we're entering like a new phase of the age of Aquarius. which will have both its like humanistic, equality, visionary, positive aspects, but it's also going to have this dark side of the Aquarian age. They're kind of rubbing alongside it. Yeah, so as I say, this is Gene Key 30, which is celestial fire, the clinging fire, it's called. You know, this is the fires of desire. The desires can change our whole lives, really, when we follow them, and sometimes they can burn us, but always they're kind of leading us towards something greater beyond. Now, what's really beautiful as well is we have Vesta here exactly conjunct Neptune, and then we have Astraea, who is the goddess of the new golden age and of sacred arts. So this is a very poetic priestess energy. It's like dance, music. So actually our first ceremony, I didn't know this when we planned it, but I asked Cheryl if she'd do celestial communication, and you know, Neptune's all about that kind of spiritual realm, and Vesta is about the priestess energy, and then the sacred artist. So actually doing celestial communication and creative writing, we can kind of tap into those higher dimensions of creativity there. Then this is quite amazing, actually, because we've got two exact conjunctions. Just take, so, and they're both in the 12th house, at least in the UK anyway, which is the spiritual house. So here you can see Vesta, Neptune, the exact same degree with Astraea there. Then we've got Jupiter and Juno at the exact same degree at 4 degrees Aries there. So this is about the expansion of the sacred marriage, the expansion of maybe our ideas of the masculine, feminine. It feels like a wonderful opportunity, if we're in a relationship, to take it to the next level. And if we're not in a relationship, to well, I'd say this, whether we're in or out of a relationship, that continuation of the mastery of the inner masculine, feminine. And if you remember, like Mars was a big part of the last Venus thing we did. And I know for myself, I feel a real shift in my inner masculine. And it came out one day really powerfully when I climbed this mountain on my own. And it was like, I can do this. I have got the power inside me to get up this mountain. And that can be what the masculine energy feels like. It's the one that takes action. And here we have, that Aries energy is all about taking action, pioneering new things, stepping out beyond what we already know into something completely different. And I'll also add that throughout at least this first part of 2023, Pallas Athena is there at 13 degrees Cancer. So Pallas Athena is the warrior goddess. This is such good energy for us. It's amazing, really. And it's lined up with Sirius. So Sirius is connected with Isis and Osiris. And in the kind of dimensionality astrology, Sirius is connected with the 6th dimension, which is the sacred geometric forms. So in some ways, for me, this really resonates with Saturn, the new forms, being part of this Venus first gate. So we're digging, we're creating the foundation of a new form. And here we have Pallas Athena from, you know, she's kind of a channel for the Sirius sixth dimension, you know, the perfect geometric forms to kind of find their way into physicality, if you like, through the causal astral levels. And she's going to and fro across Sirius, actually, for most of the first part of the year, which is really interesting because she seems to be going really slowly, you know, and she'll go to like 11 degrees and then she'll come back again. So we can see her here in the retrograde. Yeah, so that's just some of the energies. And hopefully you can see from that the building of a new foundation on a much bigger level than just our individual selves. And that's kind of what I feel we're doing on Soul Tribe. We're tapping into some like much bigger potential here. And it's not really clear, I don't think, to any of us exactly what that is. But it feels like, you know, we're unfolding something. And karmically, it feels like we've connected. Maybe over many lifetimes, we plan to be here in this time together, and this doesn't feel like one person can do it. It's going to take all of us with our individual part, our individual energy. And so it's a kind of a shift as well out of, you know, the kind of spiritual leader or the guru energy into a much more Aquarian kind of equalized thing. As I say, even though I'm facilitating this, as far as I'm concerned, Venus is the initiator of it, and I'm here to kind of support and guide in that. But it's not me who's initiating, it's Venus who is the one who transforms your life, really. So, and I think that's what's so powerful about it, is you're inviting an alignment to the cosmic forces and the evolutionary current that is pretty wow, really, in its implications. So yeah, just I'll stop the recording again and just see if there's anything. I've only got a few minutes left. If anyone has anything